guys, welcome back to a new series. This is a series where I go through and just kind of give my thoughts and give a little bit, give some facts about different albums in my collection. So all of the 6 albums you'll see in this video are all ones I have in my personal collection. So let's get talking about today's Bryan Adams' Reckless from 1984. This was Adams' 4th studio album, and the album peaked at number 1 and is Adams' most successful. The album had the following hit singles: Rent You, which peaked at number 6, Somebody, which peaked at number 11, Heaven, which peaked at number 1, and Summer 69, which peaked at number 5. On this album. Personally, I think it is Adams' best album, with Cuts Like a Knife and Waking Up the Neighbors. They're very close though, but those ones I'll probably put at 2 and 3 respectively. It also contains some of his most iconic songs like Summer 69, Heaven, and Rent You, which Rent You is actually my favorite Bryan Adams song. So my rating for Bryan Adams' Reckless is 10 out of 10, great album. It's Foreigner 4. This was Foreigner's 4th studio album, hence the name, and the album also symbolizes them having 4 members in the band instead of 6. This was Foreigner's, the album peaked at number 1 and is the band's most successful album, and the album contained the following hits: Urgent, which peaked at number 4, which is my favorite Foreigner song, Waiting for a Girl Like You, which peaked at number 2, Jukebox Hero, which peaked at number 26. Even though Jukebox Hero peaked at number 26 and wasn't the biggest hit, it has gone on to become one of Foreigner's most iconic songs, and Break It Up, which peaked at number 26. In my opinion, this was Foreigner's greatest album. The album contains quite a few of their biggest songs, like Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You, and Jukebox Hero. My rating for Foreigner 4, I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. It's a great album. Billy Joel Glass Houses from 1980. This was Joel's 7th album. The album peaked at number 1. And I'm pretty sure it might have been Joel's first album to peak at number 1. I'm not sure on that. The album was Joel's response to the new wave and punk movements, because this album contains more of like a harder rock sound that hasn't been seen on any of his albums up to this point. The album contained the following hits: You May Be Right, which peaked at number 7, which is my favorite song off the album, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, which hit number 1, and Don't Ask Me Why, which peaked at number 19. I wouldn't say this is Joel's best album, but it is certainly up there. The album does include 2 of my favorite Joel songs, You May Be Right and Still Rock and Roll to Me. I rank this album, I'll probably give it a 9, maybe 10 out of 10. It is a Journey Departure from 1980. This was Journey's 6th album and the 3rd Journey album to feature Steve Perry. The album peaked at number 8 and was their highest charting at the time, but would be surpassed. The album had the following hit, Any Way You Want It, which peaked at number 20. Personally, I would say this is one of the worst Journey albums from the Steve Perry era. It's still a good album, but not as good as Frontiers, Escape, or Infinity. The album does have Any Way You Want It, which is one of my favorite Journey songs. So for my final rating on Journey Departure, I gotta give it a 6 or 7. Huey Lewis and the News, Picture This from 1982. This was the News' 2nd album. The album peaked at number 7, which was the highest they've had to this point, but would be surpassed in 1983 by Sports and 1986 by 4, which both hit number 1. The album had the hits Do You Believe in Love, which peaked at number 6, which was the band's first top 10 hit, Hope You Love Me Like You Say You Do, which peaked at number 36, and Workin' for a Livin', which peaked at number 43. Even though Workin' for a Livin' peaked at number 43, it has gone on to get a reputation as one of the News' signature and most iconic songs. The album is probably the band's third best album, just behind Sports and 4. The album does include 2 of my favorite Huey Lewis songs, Do You Believe in Love and Workin' for a Livin', which are in my top 5 for the band. My final ranking is 8 out of 10. I did dock 2 points on this album, just because other than those 2 songs, there's nothing else really big on this album, but it's still a really good album, and I say you should take a listen. It's probably the biggest album, or the album that has the most hits in this whole episode, and this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' Damn the Torpedoes from 1979. This was the band's 3rd album and peaked at number 2. The album would become triple platinum in the following years and had the following hits: Don't Do Me Like That, which I'm pretty sure was the band's only top 10 hit, Refugee, which peaked at number 15, Here Comes My Girl, which peaked at number 59. Even though it didn't even crack the top 40, it is still one of their signature and iconic songs, and Even the Losers, which peaked at number 11. I would say this is the Heartbreakers' best album, but I would not say this is Tom Petty's best album, By that, I mean including the solo stuff and the stuff with the Heartbreakers. This is not the best album. That has to go to Full Moon Fever, which was released in 1989 and contains a bunch of hits. The album does include some of the best Heartbreaker songs in my opinion, like Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, and Even the Losers. My final rating for this album is a 10 out of 10. And let me know in the comments which album is your favorite out of these, whether it be Bryan Adams, Foreigner, Huey Lewis, Journey, Tom Petty, or Billy Joel. Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't listened to any of these albums or any of the songs mentioned in this video, I say take a listen. This is episode 1 of album review, and I'll see you guys sometime soon.